Few images are as iconic or as chilling as the Grim Reaper. A cloaked skeleton, holding a scythe, silently guiding souls into the unknown. But where did this symbol of death originate? Why is this the face we give to our final moments? Today, let's explore the dark origins of the Grim Reaper, and the many gods and spirits of death worshipped around the world. Though we often imagine the Grim Reaper as a man, many cultures depict death as female. In parts of Europe, especially France, Spain, and Italy, art and literature often show feminine reapers, ranging from youthful beauties to ancient hags. This diversity in representation reflects the complex relationship different societies have with death. In England and Germany during the Middle Ages, death became a skeletal figure holding a scythe, ready to harvest souls. This image, which most closely resembles our modern conception of the Grim Reaper, emerged as a powerful symbol during a time of great upheaval and mortality. In Poland, death is still a skeleton, but draped in white robes. Portrayed as an elderly woman, this unique interpretation adds a layer of cultural nuance to the broader European tradition. The term Grim Reaper itself is relatively recent, first appearing in English in 1847 in a book called The Circle of Human Life. This naming solidified the image in the English-speaking world, giving a formal title to a figure that had long haunted the collective imagination. But to understand why the Reaper looks the way he does, we need to go back to the 14th century. The Black Death wiped out nearly a third of Europe, and a tenth of the world. With so much suffering and little medical knowledge, people needed a symbol, something recognizable, something that made sense of the chaos. They chose the Grim Reaper, a skeleton, symbolizing what remains after we die, dark robes evoking funeral ceremonies and religious rites, a scythe, the tool of harvest, now harvesting souls at the end of life. This imagery wasn't born from a desire to terrify, but from a need to comprehend the incomprehensible. Contrary to what you might think, the Grim Reaper wasn't meant to be evil. He wasn't a demon or villain. He was a symbol, created to offer comfort during a time when death felt random and merciless. The Reaper gave form to the formless, allowing people to grapple with mortality in a more tangible way. But the Grim Reaper is just one interpretation of death among many. The Greeks, with their rich pantheon of gods, had Thanatos, the personification of gentle death. He was the son of Nyx, the goddess of night, and often appeared as a winged figure in dark robes, sometimes carrying a sickle. This early depiction laid the groundwork for later European interpretations of death. Other underworld deities in Greek mythology include Hades, king of the dead; Hermes, guide of souls; Persephone, queen of the underworld, whose seasonal return marked the arrival of spring; Hecate, goddess of crossroads, who unlocked the boundaries between life and death. In Norse mythology, death takes many forms, reflecting the complex worldview of the Viking Age. Hel, daughter of Loki, ruled the underworld. She had a face split between life and death, half alive, half decaying. This vivid imagery speaks to the Norse understanding of death as a transformative process rather than an endpoint. The Valkyries, female spirits who escorted fallen warriors to either Valhalla or added a martial aspect to death, glorifying those who fell in battle. Odin and Freya split those who died in battle between their realms, further emphasizing the importance of a warrior's death in Norse culture. Ran, the sea goddess, used her net to collect the drowned. Some say she didn't rescue them. She stole them. This personification of the dangerous sea reflects the maritime culture of the Norse people. Pester, the plague hag of Norway, carried a rake or broom and brought death to entire villages. Like the Grim Reaper, Pesta emerged as a way to give form to the terror of epidemic disease. Celtic lore offers its own rich tapestry of death deities. The Morrigan was a goddess of fate and death, often taking the form of a crow before battle. She foretold doom. She emboldened warriors. She may have inspired the legend of the Banshee, that wailing harbinger of death in Irish folklore. In Welsh and Irish folklore, Anku collected the dead in a black coach pulled by spectral horses. He wore a wide-brimmed hat, and like the Grim Reaper, wielded a scythe. These figures show how deeply intertwined concepts of death were with everyday life in Celtic societies. Moving to the Americas, we find death taking on vibrant, even celebratory forms. In Mexican folklore, Santa Muerte, Our Lady of Holy Death, is a skeletal woman in colorful robes. She has millions of followers and is revered, even celebrated. This positive relationship with death is a stark contrast to the fear often associated with the Grim Reaper. In South America, San La Muerte, or Saint Death, is a male figure with similar traits. Both have sparked controversy with the Catholic Church, but their worship continues, showing the enduring power of folk traditions. In Haitian Vodou, Baron Samedi is the top spirit of the dead, flamboyant, cigar-smoking, rum-drinking, and absolutely unforgettable. He greets the dead, digs their graves, and can even cure mortals if he chooses. His wife, Mamang Brigitte, is equally eccentric and protective of the dead. Their adopted son, Guide Nebo, became the patron of those who died young. This family of death spirits shows a more personal, even familial relationship with death, far removed from the solitary, silent Grim Reaper. Eastern cultures offer their own unique perspectives on death. In Japan, the story of Izanami and Izanagi tells of love, death, and the separation between worlds. When Izanami died and became part of the underworld, Izanagi tried to retrieve her, but fled in terror upon seeing her decaying form. He sealed the underworld away, creating the boundary between life and death. This myth explains not just the origin of death, but why the living and dead are separated. Other Japanese spirits include the Shinigami, literal gods of death, who influence human thoughts and actions in stories from the Edo period. China's mythological hell is a bureaucratic nightmare, ruled by King Yan, also known as Yama. He oversees 10 courts of judgment where souls are judged for their earthly actions. At the gates, you'll find Oxhead and Horseface, terrifying guardians who escort the dead. Before reincarnation, souls drink Mengpo's tea of forgetfulness, wiping their memories clean to begin again. This complex afterlife system reflects Chinese concepts of justice and the cyclical nature of existence. In ancient Egypt, death was a central focus of religious and cultural life. Anubis guided souls, embalmed the dead, and weighed hearts against a feather to determine their worthiness. If a heart was impure, it was devoured by Amot, a fearsome creature made from parts of a crocodile, lion, and hippopotamus. Osiris, once a god of fertility, became king of the underworld after being resurrected from death. The Egyptian focus on preservation and judgment in the afterlife shows a culture deeply invested in the concept of eternal life. Throughout history, every culture has found a way to make sense of death, whether through gods, spirits, or the image of a robed skeleton with a scythe. We seek comfort in stories, because, at the end of the day, death is something we all must face. The Grim Reaper, in all his various forms, across cultures and time, serves as a reminder of our mortality and the universal human experience of grappling with the unknown. By giving death a face, a name, a story, we make the incomprehensible just a little bit easier to understand. And in doing so, we find ways to live more fully in the face of our inevitable end.